Was there any book that you read on script consulting? I know there's a million screenwriting books, but are there any on script consulting or script doctoring?
Well, I'm writing one on script doctoring at the moment, which hopefully will see the light of day because there's a lot I would love to say, because again, I haven't found that many on script doctoring per se. There's more on script consulting than doctoring. But a book on script consulting that I really like is Jill Chamberlain's book. Her book is the one I recommend in my classes. I interviewed her from my class. She was so gracious to give me an hour of her time, and my students love watching, her recorded interview that I showed them. And yeah, she's amazing, and I like following all of her approach and things like that in the nutshell technique.
Yeah, we love Jill. Okay, so it was the nutshell technique, yes. Right? And I know it's a very popular book, and it's done very well on Amazon as well.
Yes.
Great. Where does the job of a script doctor begin?
So I think that the job of a script doctor usually begins, just reading the script. Obviously, that's the first step. When I work with my clients, I always like to tell them that I work on two steps. So step number one is I read your script, I analyze your script in depth, write a report with development, page notes, things like that. If you have coverages by other people, or notes that you've gotten, I also like them to send me those. But first I read the script cold, right? I think this is the first step because I don't want to be influenced by other people's notes. I like to read it just as it is. Sometimes I even tell writers, don't even send me your log line because I feel like the log line influences the way I see the script. I feel like me writing a log line of how the script comes across actually helps the writer. That might not be the perfect log line for them to then go and sell their script, but I feel like sometimes a lot of it gets kind of lost in translation. When you're writing a script, maybe you intended to tell something and that's your log line, but what comes across on the page is a little different. So I like to write the log line, I like to be sent everything, and then I kind of like put the notes together. And then step number 2 would be to implement those notes. So when I'm working with clients, that's how we set it up, right? I read the script, I map a course of action. I tell them, okay, this is what I would do to the script. These are the things that I think could be elevated. These are the things that I see, I could improve. And the way I would do it would be, to tackle the characters or, the structure, things like that. So we have a conversation. And if we are in sync and we agree on how to implement the things, then we go into step number 2 and I actually doctor the script. That's when I get sent the actual raw final draft file of the script and I make the changes, I stay connected with the writer or the producer, whoever is hiring me, give them updates, how things are going every week, what I'm tackling, things like that, and we work kind of like together. Obviously, I'm doing all of the writing, but I keep them updated with everything. But at the same time, I don't like to immediately tell someone, okay, I'm going to doctor your script without reading it. Because I think that first, obviously, I need to connect with the writing. I need to see how I would help elevate the script. And then I need to see that my vision for it aligns with whoever is hiring me. Because I never want to do something that strays from that vision and just completely butcher whatever it is that they were trying to tell. So I think that that's the beauty of script doctoring, is that it's like this fine art where you're trying, to elevate someone else's story, someone else's idea. It's not your story to tell. So you have to have that conversation where you both know, okay, this is the right person to doctor my script. And that's when we would take that step together.
And so you like to read it cold, no logline and no notes from anyone else. At what point would you actually want to see their logline and their notes? And why would you want to see other people's notes? That's interesting to me.
I like seeing other people's notes because sometimes, it's the note behind the note. Maybe they thought of something that maybe I didn't think about, and then that could inspire something different. It's not like I'm stealing their notes, but obviously I feel like movies are a collaborative medium, right? The same with television and all of that. So sometimes getting multiple sets of notes elevates your script even more. It can also be confusing if you're getting notes from too many people. That's why I actually like getting the notes, because I like putting them together for whoever I'm writing. for, so I can tell them, okay, these notes I think are good. These notes I think stray from the concept you're trying to tell. Or sometimes they give you a note that they don't understand and they're like, I got sent this and I don't see a path forward. So I can interpret the notes, but first I like to read the script to form my own opinion and then get that, or the log line or whatever it is that they were trying to tell. If I'm analyzing, a TV pilot, I think that's also a little different in that I usually ask writers to send me their show Bible, their pitch deck, their outline, whatever it is that they wrote, sometimes character bios or things like that, because it's so much different than analyzing a feature. A TV pilot is the promise of a show, right? It's the promise of hopefully 100 episodes to come. So you can't just base everything off the pilot. Reading the Bible, the pitch deck, whatever they have, gives me more to give them better suggestions. Because I can see, where the show is going and what is lacking in the pilot that could set things up and set things in motion. So a lot of the times I kind of like steal little ideas from the show Bible, the pitch deck, and tell the writer, maybe if you bring this in that you were thinking for episode 3 into the end of your pilot, I could see better how the ending propels the story forward and is telling people like, this is the show you're trying to tell. Because a pilot is a fine balance between giving enough to the audience and holding enough back, to keep them wanting to come back for more. So it's this tricky balance. And when you're so close to the material, you don't see if you're giving them enough. You might think you are, but maybe you're not. So I feel like those notes, especially if you're bringing everything in, sort of help you to improve it even better.
Right, because if other script consultants or doctors or other people have given the same note maybe, and you're picking up on the same thing, but the writer's like, oh no, this is not it, don't worry. And you're saying, but this is how the viewer's seeing it.
Exactly.
Oh,
I think
great.
that's the good thing because obviously, that's the thing. If you're getting multiple sets of notes and maybe they're all telling you there is something there, they might be different notes. But if you can find someone, like myself, to put these notes together in a cohesive way, you can see a path forward because sometimes it's confusing if you're getting too many notes at the same time.